All right, welcome. This is April of 2022, and we are going to be doing a different type of template. Since Stampin' Up! Has come out with 4x6 paper, then we are going to use that paper, or you can use a 12x12. So if you have the 4x6 paper that Stampin' Up! Has, or any other company, what you'll do is you'll take the 4x6 piece and you'll cut 3/4 of an inch off the 6-inch side, and that's going to give you 5 1/4 and then 3/4 of an inch. And I'll make cards using these different templates to give you an idea of what they'll look like. And then we're going to do the second one. You can cut on the 4 inches, just cut 2 3-inch pieces, okay? And then another way that you can do this is you'll cut the 6-inch piece down the center, which will give you a 5-inch this way, right? And that will be 2.5 inches on each side. And then you'll have a 1 inch at the bottom, which would really be a 1/2 inch that you can also use. Or not cut this, just leave this at 5 and cut this first at 1 inch, cut this in half, which would then give you the 2.5 inch pieces. Now, if you're using the 12x12, what you'll do is cut your 3 4-inch strips and then cut them in half at 6 inches. And then you'll take that and go back and do those 3 templates. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm using a 12x12 today, and we're going to go ahead and use that, and then we'll create these 3 different designs. So you will be able to get 6 cards well, you actually get a little bit more than 6 cards, because you're going to get 1, 3, 4, 5, let's just say 6, and so you'll get 6 cards, 6 cards out of the 12x12. Okay, so let's go ahead and start it. I'm using the art collection, and I apologize, I don't have the exact name for it. I will look that up when I put that in the comment section of the video. So we're going to start with our 12x12. So according to the template, we're just going to cut 3 4-inch strips, and then we're going to turn them in half and cut them at 6 inches. And then from there, we'll come back and we'll do those 3 templates, okay? So let's go ahead and line this up at the 4 inches. And you always want to make sure it's lined up at the top and the bottom. So we'll go ahead and cut the 4-inch there. And then we'll move this over to 4 inches. And then what we'll be able to do, because this paper is thin, we're going to line these up and cut them all at the same time as far as getting our 6-inch pieces. So we're just lining the 3 up. We'll line it at the 6-inch mark right here on our paper trimmer. And with that, we'll go ahead and run our paper trimmer, and now we've got these cut. Okay, so we've got 6 pieces, and then we'll be able to make a number of cards with that. So let me move the trimmer. Oops, we need the trimmer. Let me shut the arm. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, all right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. So the first piece that I'm going to take is we're going to cut at, we've already got it cut at 4 inches. So I'm going to turn this and cut it down to 5 1/4. Okay, so we're going to cut off 3/4 of an inch. So there's the 5-inch mark, and then we're going to move that over to the 5 1/4. So we're going to do 5 1/4. So we'll cut that. Okay, that gives us our first card. So we're going to set that off to the side. The second one we're going to take, we've got our 4 inches by 6. So we're just going to turn this piece of paper and cut this in half, which is 3 inches. So that gives us 2 more cards that we'll be able to create. So I'm going to set that off at the front, at the top. And then we're going to come down. We're actually going to be able to do 2 of each. I should have cut them both at the same time, but that's okay. All right, so now we're going to come down this one. We're going to cut 1 inch off the bottom. All right, so we're going to take, and you can do one of 2 ways. If you have the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, you can move it over here, which shows the 1 inch. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. It will show the 1 inch mark there, or you can line it up there. I'm going to line it up on this side since it's already there and it gives me room to hold the paper. So I'm going to take the 1 inch off of there. That leaves a 5-inch piece. Now you can leave this the way it is if you want. I'm going to cut it in half to make so I can make additional cards. So half of 5 would be 2.5, right? So we're going to put this at the 2.5 mark, and then we'll cut that way. Oops. What did I do? I cut this 2.5. Oh, I cut it wrong. Dadgummit. I should have turned it back. See, there you go. I boogered that up. It should have been at 5 this way, and we would have cut it down this way. So, all right, well, I just did it at, in this particular case, my mistake, we are on the 4-inch, right? So I should have, all right, what you're normally going to do, don't do what I just did, but it's either way is going to be fine. You're going to turn it to 5 inches and then cut at 2.5, okay? What I did is I cut at 2.5 inches there, and that left me 1.5 inches here. But it's fine. We'll still make that work. No big deal. And that is, okay, so that's the third one. So now we'll come back and I'll show you. We'll cut that one the right way. So we're going to come back since we've got 3 more sheets, and we'll cut these again, okay? So we're going to do the 4-inch by 5 1/4. So in that case, we can just cut off 3 inches, 3/4 of an inch, right? So we've got our 4 inches. This is our 6-inch. So we're going to take 3/4 of an inch off of that, and we're going to cut that down. Okay, so we have our 3/4 and a 5 1/4. Okay, so we'll put those in a pile. So we'll be able to make 2 of those cards. Now the next one, we're going to turn it sideways, and we're going to cut them at 3 inches again. So now we'll have 2 more cards. So that's going to give us 4, right? 4 plus 2, so now we've got 6 cards. Now we'll do this one the right way. All right, so this is at 5. We want to cut 1 inch off because we want that 1-inch piece that we're going to use all by itself for a separate card. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to turn that back to our, okay, so there's our 4 inches, right? But we want to cut the 5-inch piece down to 2.5. There's our 5-inch. So we want to cut this at 2.5. So let's get that lined up right there. And that should give us 2.5 inches. All right, so we'll have one set of cards is going to be a little bit different. All right, so there you go. That's the template. Make sure you download that. I'll also have the supply list listed as well and samples of the cards. So give me a minute and I'll come right back with my cards. All right, I am back with our cards that I made using this template. And again, this is the template that you can download as well as the instructions and all the dimensions and copies of the cards that I created. All right, so we're going to start with the 4-inch here. Now, keep in mind, I did the 12 by 12. So I went ahead and cut these at 4 inches and then cut them by 6. And then from that, I followed these areas here. So these 2 that I'm getting ready to show are the 4 by 5 1/4. And then what I did is I used the inside, the strip, and flipped it over because it would have been the same color as that. So I slipped that one over, flipped it over and attached it in the center. And then I used the Happiest of Birthday stamp set, which is this one right here. And that is in our current catalog, which is, this is being filled in March of 2022. All right, and then this base, you can cut your bases at 4 1/4 by 11, which is what I did here, scored it at 5 1/2, or you can also cut them at 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and then scored at 4 1/4. So those are your 2 options. So this particular card can be this way like a book, or you can turn it to where it would open like this. And the same with this one. This one is the 4 1/4 by 11. So it opens like that. However, you could turn it and have your design go this way and open this way. So these 2 are samples of the 4 by 5 1/4 with a 3/4 inch. And I did these on shaded spruce and put the back side, flipped the one strip, the 3/4 inch strip over, and stamped them with the Happy Birthday stamp. All right, and then the next ones are the 3 by 4s. Now on this particular one and on several, I tried to pull colors from the cardstock. So this is a piece of 3 by 4 Pear Pizzazz, and then I took a piece of our designer paper and I just angled those and placed them on a base of pale papaya. And then I also stamped the sentiment from the same stamp set onto Pear Pizzazz using Memento black ink. And then I just fussy cut this out with my scissors and popped it up on dimensionals just to give it a little dimension. All right, so just another way that you can do your card. And then here's the same thing. This is on polished peach, but polished pink, and this one's cut at 4 1/4 by 11. I did the same thing. I did a piece of Pear Pizzazz to pull out the same color green, and then I stamped my sentiment using the polished pink onto polished pink, so it's tone on tone. And then again, I fussy cut that out as well. And the next one, again, it's on polished pink. It's the 3x4. I didn't put anything underneath it, but what I did was stamp the happy birthday at an angle like that. Okay? All right, and the next one is another 3x4. Now remember, one of these I cut, no, these are 3x4, sorry. This one I took a piece of shaded spruce and ran it through the lines embossing folder just to give some dimension. And then I took a piece of pale papaya, which is a 3x4, and then I turned the paper over, which is one of the 3x4s, and then I stamped on a piece of Whisper White, and then used my Stampin' Write markers to color in the various wording on the wishing you a happiest birthday, just to give it some additional color and kind of make it pop with that polished pink. So just another way that you can use the same designs, but you're just stepping it up with a little piece that's been embossed. And the next one is another 3x4, and this one I just put the paper at the top and stamped it in polished pink, and again it's tone on tone. And this is cut at the 5.5 by 8.5 like that. And I'll add my white inserts when I get ready to send these out. Now this is this one down here, which is cut. We cut the 1 inch off, and then these are cut in half to 2.5 inches. So this is the 2.5 inch. And I put this on a base of Pear Pizzazz, stamped the ink. I stamped this in shaded spruce, and then again on basic white, and then I pop that out up on dimensionals. So again, you're getting the same thing, but changing the color of your cardstock is making your cards look completely different. Here's another of the 3x4, and this is 2.5. Hold on a minute, let me measure this. Where'd my measuring thing go? Hang on a second. Yeah, this is 2.5 by 4. So what I did the first round, if you remember, I cut this off and made this 4 inches, and then I cut it in half at 2. So it'd be 2.5 by 4. So I put that there, and then I just stamped the sentiment on a piece of basic white, and that is about 1 inch in, let's see, it's 1.25 inches. I stamped that in Pear Pizzazz, and then I used the new Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels, and I added 3 of those here. Okay, so there's that one. And the next one is on shaded spruce. Now this is where I had cut this particular one incorrectly, so I just used that one strip there. Again, I did the same thing with my sentiment, colored it in various colors using my Stampin' Write markers. And then this one is the other one where I had cut that in incorrectly. I stamped the sentiment in shaded spruce, again added the rhinestones, popped this up on dimensionals, and I cut the end to look like a flag. So all together, we got, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 11 cards out of this template. So if we had done the 12 by 12, then you would have gotten 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You would have gotten 11 cards. All right, so there's the cards that I made. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please reach out to me and let me know. And don't forget, if you need to have any supplies, you can order those through my online store at shallwestamp.com.